Clearly didn't learn his lesson and was not rehabilitated, and I'm requesting he receive the maximum sentence allowed by law.
Imagine one moment that changes everything. A moment when a court decision sends you to prison for life. What goes on in the mind of someone who knows there's no way out? Today we explore the lives of gang leaders whose path of violence led them to one fate: a lifetime behind bars. Do they carry regret or do they remain defiant? Our first story takes us to South Africa, where George Gowal Thomas earned a fearsome reputation.
The notorious Western Cape 28th gang leader, George Thomas, was sentenced to 7 life prison terms for a host of crimes, including murder.
I'm gonna be brutally honest. I'm not saying I regret it, because my whole life shaped the person that I am today. But what I know for a fact, if I could have changed some things, I wouldn't be here where I'm now.
Known simply as Thomas the Fearsome, his very name suggests a life built on violence. Even while in prison, Thomas commanded respect by ordering killings from behind bars, facing over 50 charges, from several murders and attempted murders to racketeering and illegal firearm possession. Thomas's trial was a grim spectacle, with a public gallery cleared for safety and witnesses too frightened to speak freely. The evidence was overwhelming, and yet, when the sentence of life imprisonment was pronounced, Thomas maintained a calm, almost defiant air, offering no sign of remorse. Now, let's head to Massachusetts. Here, Lee Manuel Rios, a known member of the Latin Kings, a large street gang involved in various criminal activities, made a decision that changed his life forever. In March 2015, 18-year-old Kenneth Lopez was shot and killed in a brutal attack. Rios fired 5 shots, and 4 of them hit Lopez fatally. As evidence of drug trafficking and other crimes emerged, Rios's cold, emotionless look in the courtroom spoke louder than words. Facing a life sentence without parole, he showed no sign of leaving a lasting impression on everyone who witnessed his trial.
The reason behind the Commonwealth's recommendation, Your Honor, the crime that Mr. Rios has been found guilty of, as the court has heard, was meticulously planned, was aggressively pursued, and ego-driven. Mr. Lopez lost his life because he had hit on Mr. Rios' ex-girlfriend and because he showed him disrespect. And that's all it took for Mr. Rios to not only become angry and go into a fit of rage, but to make a calculated decision to lure Mr. Lopez from his house. He enlisted the help of other Latin kings to help him in his goal. And during this case, Your Honor, as you heard, there were multiple occasions for Mr. Rios to reconsider his actions and change his mind and pursue other options. And each time he refused to do that. And as you heard, he told everybody about this. He was excited to do this. He wanted everyone to know that he was not going to let Mr. Lopez make him look bad. And after he did it, he boasted about it. He didn't care who knew. He told everyone, going into detail multiple times, to explain exactly how he did what he said he would do in killing Kenneth Lopez.
After the unsettling events that had unfolded, the peace of Reseda, California, was once again shattered by the violent actions of 2 brothers, Anthony and Michael Carpio. Connected to the Rockwood Street Gang, they confronted 18-year-old Kevin Orellana at a local high school handball court. What started as a typical gang challenge quickly escalated into a brutal stabbing, ending a young life and leaving a family in deep sorrow. The courtroom, heavy with sorrow, fell into a chilling silence as the Carpio brothers received sentences ranging from 15 years to life in prison. Their stoic expressions during the proceedings only deepened the community's anguish. Now, our next case of Abel Gallegos stands as a stark reminder of unbounded cruelty. When 28-year-old Simone Duran identified a suspect, she unknowingly sealed her own fate. Gallegos, along with accomplice Rene Rosales, lured her to a motel under false pretenses. There, in a calculated act, they kidnapped and shot her multiple times before setting her body on fire. Overwhelming evidence and the testimony of more than 30 witnesses led to Gallegos receiving a sentence of life without parole, plus an additional 163 years. In the courtroom, Gallegos displayed no remorse, his expression reflecting the unyielding cruelty of his actions.
Indictment 2013-983-B, charging the defendant, Aaron Hernandez, with unlawful possession of a firearm while not at home or work. What say you, Madam Foreperson? Is the defendant not guilty or guilty?
Guilty.
Indictment 2013-983-C, charging the defendant Aaron Hernandez with unlawful possession of ammunition. What say you, Madam Foreperson? Is the defendant not guilty or guilty?
Guilty.
Our final chapter delves into the dark world of the MS-13 gang. Lisandro Posada Vasquez, along with 4 accomplices, was involved in the brutal murder of 17-year-old Raymond Wood. What began as a deceptive plan to sell drugs transformed into a savage act of violence. The group transported Wood from Lynchburg to Bedford County, where they overpowered him, strangled him, and stabbed him multiple times. They even severed his right hand as a mark of terror. Although Vasquez later accepted responsibility, his lack of visible remorse was evident as he was sentenced to life for aggravated murder, with additional years for gang affiliation. His accomplices received similar harsh penalties, and the silence in the courtroom spoke volumes about their hardened hearts.
He deserves to be executed the way that he executed Stephen Cerna.
Cerna was shot to death in a drainage ditch known as Hell's Gate. He was lured there by 22-year-old Robert Martinez, who promised him he would make him some drug money.
This was not an accidental or a reckless shooting. It was an execution.
An execution, she said, in retaliation for the murder of one of Martinez's friends. Martinez claimed that a member of Cerna's family was involved in that murder. The state's key witness was Martinez's uncle, Larry Isaac. He testified that his nephew admitted to him that he killed Cerna.
This was not a retaliatory strike. There's no evidence of that. Not one drop of evidence other than from Larry Isaac, who himself does not know.
Isaac testified for the state in exchange for a reduction in prison time in a kidnapping case pending against him. McRae suggested that because of that deal, Isaac's testimony was not credible. It was, prosecutors countered, as they asked for a life sentence.
At Crime Clarity, we expose the dark reality of a world where power is built on violence, and the price is a lifetime behind bars. These stories force us to ask, do they truly understand the weight of their choices? If this story left you captivated, or maybe even disturbed, let us know in the comments. What do you think? Did they deserve their fate, or was justice served too late?